Yo, Treytd back again with another podcast video. I missed the intro a couple times, but we have a couple things on the agenda for episode 2 of my podcast. It's just gonna be called the Treytd 23 or the Treytd Podcast for now. The first thing we can talk about the injuries. Uh, Over the past couple weeks, we've had multiple big injuries happen, and I don't know what's going on. We've had so many injuries in the past few weeks, few months, all this year, but they're starting to really pile up now. I'm gonna start with the Joel Embiid injury, torn meniscus, most likely going to be out. I think for the best interest in the 76ers, they hold him out. They don't play him. He was playing MVP level basketball, averaging like 35 points per game, like 11, 12, maybe 13 rebounds. I forget how much. Playing great defense, scoring the basketball, getting his team wins. Had a nice young superstar in the making, and Tyrese Maxey right on the side. A bunch of good role players. They made a couple trades. They got Buddy Hield at the deadline. They also picked up Robert Covington, who's been decent. Nicholas Batum, who's been good. Tobias Harris, they still got. I'd say hopefully if they can bring him back on like a 20 some mil deal instead of almost 40, it'd be a good pickup for them. Bringing in Buddy Hield or even signing someone a little bit better. Signing a Siakam, somehow finding a way to convince Paul George to come to Philly. There's a bunch of different options for them to go this offseason. The next one that just happened a few days ago is Karl-Anthony Towns. I think it's his left knee, another torn meniscus. They said he could possibly be back for playoffs, but that is a big loss for the Minnesota Timberwolves on two accounts. The first one is they're really thin at that 4 position. Yes, you can play Naz Reid at the 4. Yes, you can have Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid out there, but you don't have a backup big after that. Naz Reid is your backup big. You want him to play. And the second thing, and probably the most important thing, is this is probably, maybe not statistically, but the eye test shows this has been one of his better years. He struggled to start figuring out, this is Anthony Edwards' team. Rudy Gobert is playing center. It took him a year to figure it out, but they've been elite. And Karl-Anthony Towns has been he's been an all-star, and he's definitely improved defensively, and he's been a very good number 2 to Anthony Edwards. It's going to be big because that's a lot of size. What we saw with who did the Nuggets play that who did the Nuggets play? They played the Timberwolves. They played who was their second round matchup last year? It was the Nuggets. They played the Lakers in the conference finals. Phoenix Suns. It was the Miami Heat. My bad. They played the Miami Heat in the finals, and there were matchups where obviously you have Bam Adebayo guarding Nikola Jokic, and you have like Gabe Vincent, you have Max Strus guarding Aaron Gordon, and Jokic, Jamal Murray, KCP, even MPJ, just throwing it down to Aaron Gordon. He's catching lobs. He's catching the ball and just going up. I'm gonna get to this in a second. I'm gonna get to this after I'm done with these injuries. There's nothing you can do when you have a Max Strus who's 6'5", and he's guarding Aaron Gordon who's 6'9", 6'10". They could jump out of the gym still, even though he's not in the dunk contest and he doesn't show all the dunks that he can do and used to do. He still got them bunnies. He still got the bunnies. And it would be a tough series for the Nuggets to win because you have the defensive player of the year in Nikola Jokic. You got 2 all-stars, Anthony Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns. You have a nice wing defender, Jaden McDaniels, and you have 2 nice point guards in Mike Conley, Monte Morris. They also got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's been phenomenal. They just signed T.J. Warren. They got Naz Reid off the bench if Karl-Anthony Towns comes back. And then again, it sucks because even if Karl-Anthony Towns comes back, he can be very rusty and trying to get back into game shape, getting back into the flow of the speed of the game, and he's not gonna look the same as he did when he was before his injury. So it's gonna be tough because he's probably the greatest 3-point shooting center of all time, not big man, center of all time, and it's a big loss for them because now they're not necessarily small, but they're not as big as they were before with him on the court. And it's an all-star, someone that can give you, as we saw, someone that can give you 60 points any given night. So yeah, it's a big loss. While I'm on the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards. Oh no, I don't know what's going on. Played the Pacers a couple nights ago, and he like within the first like few minutes of the game, he went down with like it looked like a bad injury because normally he doesn't react like that to a roll or a twisted ankle or just like a small injury like that. But first quarter went down. I don't remember when he came back, but he comes back, just goes to work, and then last play of the game, he misses the free throw. They're up two. Aaron Nesmith goes up for a layup, and Anthony Edwards jumps out of the gym to block the shot. He lands awkwardly, but gets right back up. That's like the definition of like I don't even know. I don't know. Anthony Edwards. I just wanted to bring that up. Anthony Edwards has been on another level. And then what just happened earlier today is Alperen Şengün went down with a knee and ankle injury. Went up for a layup. I think Sabonis went up for a layup or a dunk. Şengün was there to try to block it, and they landed awkwardly. Sabonis was good, but Şengün was taken off the court by a wheelchair. It didn't look good. So hopefully he gets back to good, or hopefully he gets back. At least he gets back, gets healthy. The Rockets aren't going to make the playoffs. Not going to make the play-in, but Şengün has been their best player and probably will be their best player going forward, unless Amen Thompson takes a huge step. Cam Whitmore, Jabari Smith, even Jalen Green could possibly do that. It's been Fred VanVleet and Alperen Şengün for the Houston Rockets. This is another big loss. Benedict Mathurin on the Indiana Pacers goes down with a torn labrum. Same injury as John Morant. Going to be out the rest of the season. It's a big loss. Last year, first half of the year was in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Rest of the year really kind of fell off a little bit. This year was good. Was playing solid defense, shooting the ball solidly. Obviously, he can get to the rim. He was. I want to say he was starting. It was probably Tyrese. I want to say probably Benedict Mathurin, along with Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner. Which is that like just thinking about that, looking at that, solid starting five. Miles Turner can block shots. Miles Turner can also shoot the three. Siakam is a former All-Star, also a good defender. It's not someone you're going to put on your best player, but he can defend. You got Aaron Nesmith, who's a good all-around player. Benedict Mathurin, who this year was a decent all-around player, and Tyrese Halliburton. Shooting threes, scoring, playmaking. That's all you need. And you guys are just running. So yes, that's a big loss for them. I don't know where they're going to get. Whether they're going to make that up. Whether it's they bring in Jarris Walker and he plays your. I don't know how they're going to make that up. But do I think they're going to contend? No. Do I think they're a solid playoff team? Possibly, or solid playing team? Yes. They were amazing to start the year. Tyrese Maxey goes down with his hamstring injury. They trade for Siakam. They haven't really been able to play together, so like they're a little shaken up. Well, not shaken up. Their chemistry isn't there. It'll get there, but obviously you want to get the games, you want to get the reps. So if Siakam goes back to the Pacers next year, then I think they will be a solid NBA team, playoff team. The next team I want to talk about. I was going to look, but I know the injuries. So the New York Knicks, injury riddled. Jalen Brunson just came back tonight. They scored like I think a total like 73, 75 points. The 76ers scored like a total of 80. So it was a very early 2000s, 90s brand of basketball. Defense, not efficient, and no scoring. Brunson struggled, but he just came back from, I forget what his injury was. But you got OG who had an elbow injury. Julius Randle with this dislocated shoulder. You have Mitchell Robinson out. They just traded for Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec Burks. They also traded for OG, obviously. Dante DiVincenzo has been playing good basketball. Josh Hart's been playing good basketball. Miles McBride, they have a deep team to where they can still sort of stay afloat. But you want to get Julius Randle, OG, and even Mitchell Robinson in. Isaiah Hartenstein just came back from injury as well. You want to get those four to five guys in with everyone else and everyone that you just traded for. You want to get those reps. You want to get the team chemistry because this is a team that they can somewhat match up with the Celtics. The Celtics and the Bucks are top heavy, but there's a world where the Knicks are just so damn deep that they can upset a Celtics. They can upset a Milwaukee Bucks. They can upset a Miami Heat. I know the Miami Heat aren't a contender, but we said that the 2 years they made the finals. They didn't win, but they made the finals. You got to give them their respect. They've been playing good basketball. The Knicks, they've been struggling a little bit. Obviously, no Julius Randle, no OG, no Julius Randle, no Mitchell Robinson. But with how deep the team is, once those guys come back, hopefully Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson come back. If and as long as they come back and they can get 5 to 6 games in before they come back for the playoffs, I think they'll be in a good situation. They'll most likely play like a 76ers. They'll most likely play like a Miami Heat in the first round, maybe an Indiana Pacers, but I highly doubt it. But if they play one of those teams, I feel confident in them winning that series. Excuse me. I also feel confident in them really competing with the Celtics. Because yes, they have Drew Holiday, they have Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford. That's a nice solid 6. But I can name 8 to 9 guys better than their 7th guy. So it would probably be, I'd say, probably Jason Tatum. You can probably make an argument between Jaylen Brown and Jalen Brunson, and then Julius Randle and Porzingis. So it's probably those 5 at the top. And then you get to OG and Derek White. You can argue it a little bit. People were making case for Derek White being an all-star. I thought it was outrageous. Derek White's a great role player, probably one of the best role players in basketball. But I wouldn't say he's an all-star. You have Derek White, you have OG, you have Bojan Bogdanovic, you got Mitchell Robinson if he comes back, you got Isaiah Hart. I'm not going to say Isaiah Hart. You got Alec Burks, you got Josh Hart, you got Dante DiVincenzo. And then it gets to the Al Horford, it gets to the Sam Hauser, it gets to the Luke Cornett. Like it gets to the Peyton Pritchard. Like it gets to the 7, 8, 9 man players on the bench for the Boston Celtics. And then with the Milwaukee Bucks, since the All-Star, they struggled the first few games out of All-Star. After, they've been great. I don't know what's going on with Chris Middleton. I have no clue what's going on with him, but they've been playing great basketball. They beat a short-handed Clippers while also being short-handed with Damian Lillard going crazy. They I forget who they beat today, but they beat a team today. So yeah, Bucks have been playing good basketball. The Knicks have been playing good basketball. What's another team? Chicago Bulls. I'm gonna get to my small Bulls talk real quick. Zach LaVine out the rest of the year. Patrick Williams out the rest of the year. Julian Phillips has been playing good basketball. Dalen Terry's been playing decent for what he did last year, whatever he did last year. Andre Drummond's been playing phenomenal. Vucevic has been playing better, and he's been better defensively. Kobe White, nothing I have to say about him. He's in the most improved player conversation. You got Alex Caruso playing good basketball. You got DeMar DeRozan playing good basketball. You got, let me see. Torrey Craig just came back a couple of nights ago. Ayo Dosunmu's been playing good basketball. Javon Carter's been shooting he's been struggling a little bit against the Suns. He passed a wide open layup, but it happens. I'm not tripping about it. But yeah, and then I'm excited but not excited because I don't know how he's gonna look. There was a report. Lonzo Ball is good for advancing in his rehabs. I saw that there was some things that he was good to play basketball again, but I'm not gonna take full effect. Billy Donovan said he's sprinting and he's cutting on the court now, so that's good. We saw him dunking already. It wasn't a full dunk. It wasn't in-game dunk. It wasn't game speed dunk. It wasn't a fancy dunk, but he's dunking. He's sprinting. He's cutting. So I wouldn't say that I'm too excited for him to come. Obviously, I'm happy. As a basketball fan, I am happy as hell that he is coming back and that he's healthy. But as a Bulls fan, I want to be excited, but then I don't, because DeMar's 35, Vucevic is 35, Zach LaVine is 28, 29 years old. We have Kobe White, who's been amazing at the starting point guard position. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do with Lonzo Ball? Are we gonna involve him in a trade? Are we gonna just let this last year run out? What are we gonna do with Lonzo Ball? I have no clue what we're gonna do. I want to see him on the court healthy, whether that's in Chicago, whether it's in Philly, whether it's in LA. I don't care. I just want to see him healthy. And I want to say there's one more injury. I'm trying to think. Well, Steph Curry is out, but it's not nothing too serious. Because I got like I got two more topics I want to talk about before I get out of here, and I'm trying to think if there's any other injuries. Boom, boom. Oh, Donovan Mitchell has been out, but the Cavs have still somewhat been staying afloat. They just got dominated by the Brooklyn Nets, but it happens. I'm not tripping about it. Evan Mobley is also out for, I think, an extended period of time. So hopefully he can come back, and he's still good. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about, and I've been seeing this a lot. As you guys can tell by the title. Is defense non-existent in today's game? Yes and no. It can be a yes and no answer. Is defense non-existent? Yes, because it is so hard to defend a team nowadays. It's so hard to defend teams. There's so much talent. I'm going to give you guys a couple examples. All right. So the Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, Giannis can't shoot. Yes, he cannot shoot. But if he hits a couple threes, what are you going to do? You're going to step up on him. That allows him to drive, penetrate, and get to the basket. With a Damian Lillard Giannis pick and roll, it's either you let Damian Lillard shoot a three, or you let Giannis run and dunk the whole game. And if you don't switch it, or if you don't double one of them, if you don't double Damian Lillard off the pick and roll, Giannis is open. If you help, Malik Beasley's in the corner, Chris Middleton's in the corner, Jay Crowder, Brook Lopez, someone's going to be in the corner to shoot. That can go for almost any team. The New Orleans Pelicans, almost perfect example, except Jonas Valanciunas has not been the three-point shooter he was last year, the year before. CJ McCollum's on pick and roll. Either you let CJ McCollum shoot the three, which he is a 20-point scorer, or you let Zion dunk on your center. If you allow CJ to shoot, you're going to lose. I will rely on CJ McCollum to beat you. If you allow Zion to go to the basket every time, either he's going to dunk it on you, or he's swinging it to Brandon Ingram, swinging it to Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. Jonas Valanciunas, again, hasn't been a three-point shooter. He has been in the past few years, but he's a three-point shooter. He can shoot threes. You're swinging it to someone that can shoot. I'm not discrediting 2000s, or I'm not discrediting the 90s or the 80s or whatever. I'm not discrediting them. But if you look at the Michael Jordan Bulls, they're operating in the mid-range. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen or Bill Cartwright or whoever, they're running pick and rolls in the mid-range. It's not all the way at the half court, because Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Trae Young, they can all shoot deep threes. They're running it at the top of the key or the top of the three-point line, and they're running pick and rolls and they're trying to get into the basket. There's like 4 or 5 people in the paint at all times, and when I say someone's in the corner, in both corners, it's a 20-foot corner jump shot. They're not even shooting threes. Ron Harper, if you leave him open in the corner, shoot it. If you're leaving Scottie Pippen in the corner for three, shoot it. Dennis Rodman, shoot it. Luke Longley, whoever their center is, shoot it. I don't care. If you make one or two of them, that's cool. But you're not allowed to shoot them. Horace Grant, shoot. I don't care. Shaq, shoot it for all I did. See what I'm like. None of the players, none of the centers, none of the power forwards, even some of the point guards couldn't shoot. Magic Johnson ain't shooting no three. Ron Harper has shot threes and he can make some threes, but he's not a 3-point shooter. He's not Steve Kerr. You have a bunch of Steve Kerrs. You have a bunch of Mark Prices. You have a bunch of I've never been able to say his name. Point guard on the Nuggets. You have a bunch of 3-point shooters. Kristaps Porzingis, Victor Wembanyama. 7'3", 7'4", 7'5", however tall they are. They're shooting threes. Manute Bol, could he shoot threes? Yeah, he can hit a couple of them, but that's not where he is. He's in the paint. He's defending the basket, right? So it's tough to defend in today's game because you don't have one threat. On the Bulls, you had Jordan. The Trailblazers, you had Clyde Drexler. On the Lakers, you had James Worthy. On the I'm just trying to think of teams. On the Suns, you had Charles Barkley. On the Knicks, you had Patrick Ewing. On the you get where I'm going. There was one scorer. There was maybe one or two shooters on the entire team, and they weren't shooting high quality threes, and they weren't making high quality threes. If they shot the high quality threes, and they are the high quantity, they're shooting high quantity threes. If they're shooting a lot of threes and making threes, then yeah, I'm gonna step up. Or yeah, it's gonna be a little bit harder to defend back then. But you can't tell me a Jason Tatum, a Jaylen Brown, a Giannis, a Embiid, a Kevin Durant, a Westbrook, any of those guys can't go back into the 90s and early 2000s and dominate because the defense, because there's so much talent nowadays. That's what it is. There's too much talent to be able to defend. I can't help off someone because he's a 45% 3-point shooter from right here. I don't want to help on the weak side because I have Jokic's. I know he's not what he used to be. I have Ben Simmons. I have LeBron James. I have Tyrese Halliburton that can throw it on the other side of the court and they're making the three. Across the court. One corner to the other, I'm throwing you. I have Lucas. I got all those guys that can throw passes all the way to the other side of the court, and they're making the threes. So it's the narrative that there's no defense nowadays. It bugs me. It really does bug me. Yes, when I started watching basketball was like 2007, 2008, around the time Derrick Rose came in the league. That's when you can still somewhat be fit. Yeah, okay. I get it. You can't hand check. You can't put someone on their ass. I understand that. I fully understand you can't do that. But you tackling someone, you clotheslining them, I'm sorry. That's not real basketball. It just isn't. It's not real basketball. The physical, I'm gonna bruise you up. It's just not. It is literally just not. So the fact that people say there's no defense nowadays, I can see why, because there's times where when someone's scoring 73, when Luka's scoring 73 points, there are possessions where he's not touched. Yeah, there are times where there's no defense. The Atlanta Hawks, bad defensive team. Spurs, they have Victor Wembanyama. Of course, Embiid's going to be able to drop 70 on them. You're playing the Pistons. You're playing the Hornets. There are certain teams where there's no good defenders. Pistons, Wizards, Hornets, Spurs, Grizzlies right now because none of their players are playing. All of them are bad defensive teams because they have no defenders. Yes, I get it. You can say effort, but you can't expect 18-year-old Gigi Jackson to be able to lock down a prime Kawhi Leonard or a Kevin Durant or a LeBron James or a like you can't expect it. Yes, I understand. Yes, I agree. We need more veteran. There needs to be more older guys in the league. We need the Udonis Haslams. We need the Kenyon Martins. We need the older guys in the league. The guys that are 35 plus. We need the Iguodalas. We need the Sean. We need those veteran players to help teach the young guys first off how to act as well, and then also how to play basketball. The whole clotheslining, tackling them. I don't agree with it. Is it fun to watch? Yeah, especially back then. But it's just that's not defense. It's just not defense. Yeah, I'm gonna clothesline you. I'm gonna grab your jersey. I'm gonna tackle you because you got by me. It's again not defense. Not defense. Defense is I'm clamping you. I'm staying in front of you. I'm hitting the ball. You can shoot it, and if you make it, good shot. But I did everything I could to make you uncomfortable. You didn't get to where you wanted to go. You put up a terrible shot, and you made it. It happens. So defense is like I said. Defense is where I'm staying in front of you. I'm being a little. I agree. A little bit of physicality. I'd like that. Where yeah, I can kind of give you a little push. You're getting by me. I can kind of push you or grab you to kind of get you back in front of me, like just a little physical. And then the flagrant fouls, they got to come down to flagrant fouls, technical fouls after you dunk it, after you hit a nice three, after you cross. Like if you have a nice move, yeah, show emotion. I don't care about that. It's the tackling, the clotheslining. That's not coming back to the game. It's just not coming back to the game. Is there anything else? Oh, so since Joel Embiid has been out for the past, I want to say like month and a half, the MVP race is back to where it was when Jokic was winning his first two, and even Joel Embiid was winning his first one. Where it's like there's like a top 4 to 5 MVP guys. You got Jokic, you got Shea, you got Luka. People even say I would also say Donovan Mitchell, Giannis, Tatum. Like there's so many players in this MVP conversation, this MVP race. Shea and his OKC, they're number 1. Denver, they're probably number 3, but next game they win, they'll probably be number 2 because the Timberwolves just lost tonight against the Lakers. You got Tatum, who's clear number 1 in the NBA. You got Donovan Mitchell, who his two of their stars were out, and he kept the Cleveland Cavaliers afloat. You also got Luka, who's damn near averaging a triple double. If not, he is averaging a triple double. Even though it's not their team, it hasn't been the best, but still he's been top level. Like you have so many guys that could be in this MVP race, and Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks are number 2. Giannis is playing great. Just the MVP race the past few years has been so close, and there's been so many guys in the conversation. Like last year, it was between Jokic and Embiid. Year before, Jokic and Embiid. Year before, Jokic and Embiid. But it's been close. Like I think you can argue Embiid should have won the first one, and Jokic should have won the last 2. And then this year, it can go to Jokic, it can go to Shea, it can go to Giannis, it can go to Tatum, it can go to Luka. I don't think it will go to Donovan Mitchell, but Donovan Mitchell has been amazing. Like there's so many names up there in the MVP race that it's just it's a lot to talk about. So see, I think I'm done for the night. Let me see. Is there anything else I gotta talk about? Nah, yeah. I think that concludes this podcast. I know it was all over the place. I'm definitely gonna get better at all this. Longer episodes, hopefully more entertaining and all that. So yeah. If you guys like this podcast, please like, comment, subscribe. Peace.